Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the next game on the 1987 Strat-O-Matic Super Advanced Replay. We are at the second game of May the 6th. First game, we saw Boston and Oakland, where Roger Clemens pitched a complete game victory. And now we're going to the second game on this day's date. It's coming to us from Tiger Stadium in Detroit. It'll be the Seattle Mariners taking on the Detroit Tigers. Seattle enters with one of the worst records in the league, 9-18. Detroit at 12-13, looking to even their record. Walt Terrell comes into the game with a record of 2-1. Scott Bankhead record of 1-1. This is game number 178 in the replay. Tiger Stadium. Singles, not that much of a difference. 1-2 for lefties and a 1 for righties, but home runs is where they make the hay. Left-handers 1-14, right-handers 1-11. Another thing to mention, Walt Terrell is a -3 hold. Mike Heath is a -2 arm, so we got a -5, which may deter some of the Seattle guys from running. Scott Bankhead teaming with Scott Bradley is a +1, but Detroit doesn't really have a lot of guys that try to steal bases anyway, so I don't think that's going to be quite as much big of a factor for them as it would be otherwise. So just to give you some background there, let's see if we get some extra light or whether that's too much light. Let me see here. You can let me know, Ben, if that's too much light. I'll turn one of the. If it's too much of a brightness and you can't read the cards very well, I'll turn it down like I had it before. But if you can read everything that way, I'll keep it that way so it's a little bit brighter. Kind of not sure what's the best way to do it, but you can let me know and I'll adjust accordingly. Looks good. Okay, we'll go with the brighter side then. And of course, always forget to do one thing before I start, and that was to start up the Strat computer. So let me get that going here. And we hope we don't have any internet issues. We don't have any circles. We don't want circles in the sand. We want to get this game played and taken care of. So we will go to Tiger Stadium and get this thing on the road. And we'll get the full statistics on Walt Terrell. Terrell enters the game. Record of 2-1, a 3.86 earned run average. He was 4.05 real world. 33 innings pitched, 35 hits, 8 walks, and 22 strikeouts. No whammies. You got that right. No whammies. So we're going to press our luck and move on. So John Moses, a very much struggling John Moses, only hitting a $183. He hit 246 real world, but in this replay, he's hitting a $183, a homer and 7 driven in. And we're underway. 6-5, switcher bang left. That is a line out to short. Alan Trammell will snag it. And there's one away. This will just add to the putouts by the shortstops, which are going to be outrageous by the time the season's over, I'm sure. All right, here's Phil Bradley. Bradley enters the replay again, struggling. 198, hit 257 real world. 3 homers, 7 driven in. It's probably why they're 9-18. They just haven't been hitting the ball. But they made up for it by not pitching. 5-6, and that is a strikeout. First strikeout for Terrell. So right now, if you're in the American League, you want to see Seattle on your schedule because you're catching them at a good time. Here's the other Bradley, Scott Bradley. He is hitting 250. No homers, 8 driven in, hit 278 real world. That's a 3-5, and that's a ground ball to first. Easy play for Darrell Evans. And it's a very easy 1-2-3 inning for Walt Terrell. Mariners go away quietly. We go to the bottom of the first. It's Seattle nothing and Detroit coming to bat. And right-hander Scott Bankhead will be on the mound for Seattle. I believe he was a former Royal. And I think they got him in the trade for Tartable, but don't quote me on it. But I think that's what happened. Bankhead on the replay is 1-1 with a 3.41 earned run average. 34 innings pitched, 26 hits, 8 walks, 14 strikeouts. Leading off for the Tigers will be Pat Sheridan, the right fielder. Sheridan's hitting 220, 2 homers, 6 driven in. Hello, Colin. Good to see you. 3-11, and that's a ballpark single check, and it's a 1-2, so not very good. 17 is not going to help him. That's a line out to second. And there's one away. So 1 down. And that takes us over to Lou Whitaker, second baseman. Whitaker hitting 290, 7 homers, 20 driven in. 1-5, and he's going to ground it to second. So another play by Harold Reynolds. He must have caught all his Baseball Tonight highlights and gotten updated and gotten up to speed because he's made 2 good fielding plays. And that'll bring up Kirk Gibson. Gibson, very limited duties. He only had 1 game he's played. He's 0 for 3. He just started on the May 5th game off the disabled list. So he's got a 0 average and 3 at bats. So nothing to go on there. 1-6, and that's a strikeout. First strikeout for Bankhead. And Bankhead takes care of the Tigers 1-2-3. But we've seen this movie before where we've had good pitching to the first 5 or 6 innings. Then once you get to the 7th or 8th or 9th innings, teams start batting around and it just gets to be a mess. Hopefully that's not the case. Although if you saw the season ticket game today, that we did have a nice tight game on that one where it didn't get out of hand. Plus it had a surprise ending. So, but I'm not going to spoil it. All right, here's Ken Phelps. He is the designated hitter. He is hitting 258, 6 homers, 16 driven in. Hello, Tim. Good to see you. All right, thank you for confirming he was part of the Tartable trade. Thank you too, Hardwood. Phelps 4-11 against Terrell, and that's a ground ball pitcher X. He's an E12. He's a 3 E12 as a pitcher. 3-20, he'll get to it. Now the E12 is what they've got to be concerned about. So as a pitcher, E12, he's got to avoid 6, 12, 15, 3, and 18. And that's a 9. It's a good play. So Terrell will take care of Phelps. 1 down. Kind of bobbled the ball, but Phelps runs so slow he had plenty of time to get him. And here comes the hound dog, Jim Presley. He is checking in at $157. He hit 247 real world. He's 90 points under his average. 2 homers, 11 driven in. 111, and that's a 1-19 home run. So that's a turnaround for the hound dog right there. He took Walt Terrell to Heartbreak Hotel with that one. 111 is a goner, and that's home run number 3 for the hound dog, Jim Presley. Solo shot gives Seattle a 1-0 lead. RBI number 12 for Presley. And that'll bring up Alvin Davis. Davis is checking in at 290. 3 homers, 9 driven in. 1-4, and that is a fly to right field. Sheridan will haul it in, 2 down. 2 away for Mike Kingery, the right fielder. Kingery checks in, 273, 4 homers, 12 driven in. That is a 4-8, and that's a 1-4 double. Anything else will be a single. That's a 2-out single for Kingery. And you could try to get the lead, but I tell you it's a -5. So if he got the lead, it'd just be a 1-8. So that's not a good. That's even for me. That's not a good option. I'm aggressive, just I'm not stupid. So he's going to hold. And here's Quinones. Quinones hitting 213, 0 homers, 10 driven in. 5-4, and that is a ground ball third base X. We are looking at Brookins. He's a 3E21. 3E21. 3-19, he'll get that all day long. Now the E21 comes into question for a third baseman. And in E21, he's got to avoid 6, 11, 16, 15, and 18. 6, 11, 16, 15, and 18. That's a 14. Boy, talk about getting lucky. Talk about getting lucky. He misses out. 15 and 16 are there, but not 14. So Brookins on a tough hop makes the play to end the inning, but Seattle does get the run on the home run by Presley. And we go to the bottom of the second, 1-0 Mariners. Been a while since I've been able to say the Mariners are in the lead. Of course, it's early, so you can't go by that at all. Here's Bankhead, and he'll be facing Alan Trammell. That's a good one, Ben. Now, if you ask some people, they may say I'm stupid, and that's fine. If they want to say that, they can go right ahead. But I like to say I might be ignorant about a lot of things, but I'm not stupid. All right. So Alan Trammell will lead it off, and he's hitting .417, 4 homers, 14 driven in. 6-5, and that's an in-home run chance straight off the bat, and that's gone. Alan Trammell just cranks it. Look at that, 6-5 in-home run chance. No question about it. Don't even need a D20 or anything. Plus, if we did, it was a 1. So that's gone. Alan Trammell, home run number 5, and just like that, we have a tie ball game. Home run number 5 for Trammell, RBI number 15. And before you can even blink, we have a tie ball game. Trammell just crushed that one. And here's Matt Noakes, the catcher. I'm sorry, the DH in this game. He's normally a catcher. He's DH in this game. He's hitting .208, 8 homers, 20 driven in. 5-7, and that's a ground ball, second base X. So we're going to see if Harold Reynolds was able to watch baseball tonight and learn anything. He's a 2, and a 2 and a 14 is good, but now the E21 comes into question. E21 has got to avoid 4, 13, and 17. Now he certainly ought to be able to do that. Barely. 14. Boy, talk about getting a break. That was pretty doggone close. 13 would have been an error, but not a 14. So Reynolds does make the play. 1 away. And that'll bring up Darrell Evans. Evans hitting .233, 6 homers, 15 driven in. 6-6, and that's against the left-handers. 1-6 is a triple. That's a 5. Darrell Evans will hit a triple. He had no triples on the season. So my home rule is he gets limited to a double. Not going to let slow guys that can't run get triples. So double for Darrell Evans. He's on for Mike Heath. Heath hitting .184, no homers and a run driven in. Bankhead in a little bit of trouble. 4-7, and that's a 1-3 double, but that's a 9, so that is a fly to center. 2 down, and I realize that would have been a sac fly had I allowed the triple, but I'm not allowing the triple. Never do. Computer doesn't do it, so I don't do it. All right, here is Billy Bean. Billy Bean hitting .313, no homers, 5 driven in. But the important thing is to be consistent and to always never allow it. So this is not a one-off. I don't allow it for anybody. That's why I checked to see if he had any triples. 4-10, and that's a strikeout to end the inning. So it did cost Detroit a run, but I got to play it the way I see fit. So we go to the third. Still, it is now 1-1, actually. And if Ken Phelps comes up and hits a triple, I'm not going to give him that one either because he had no triples on this. Actually, he did have 1 triple on the season. So if he gets a triple, I'll give it to him because he got a triple there. But if they have 0 into the triple line, I'm not giving it to him. That's just the way I roll on that. Because I got that from the Strat computer. First time I saw it, like, why didn't he get a triple? The Strat computer adjusted it. All right, here is Harold Reynolds. See if he can learn how to bat from baseball tonight. Learn how to field from baseball tonight. All right, here's Reynolds. He is hitting .241, no homers, 3 driven in. That's a 2-5, and he's going to pop it up to Darrell Evans at first base. 1 down. And I believe Darrell Evans' nickname was Howdy Doody. Thought I saw that on a APA card back in the day before I disowned APA. Didn't know any better back then. All right, here's John Moses. 2-9 for Moses, and that's a single. Base hit for Moses. Again, he could try to run, but it would be a 1-8, and you just don't do that. So he's aboard. He will be held, but he won't go anywhere. Here's Phil Bradley, struck out his first chance. 2-7, and he's going to draw the base on balls. So back come the Mariners. They have 2 on with 1 out. And Scott Bradley, the batter. Thank you for confirming that. I thought I saw Howdy Doody somewhere as a nickname. All right, here's Scott Bradley. Bradley. 6-7, and that's another walk. So Terrell's going to load the bases on a single and 2 walks. We have bases loaded, 1 out for the Hound Dog, who homered his last time up. Actually, no, it's Phelps. I'm sorry. I got him out of order here. It is Ken Phelps. My bad. It is Ken Phelps. Hound Dog is on deck. Infield looking for the double play as Phelps got a lot of ground ball A's on his card. 1-7, and he struck him out, so he didn't need the double play on that particular play. He got a strikeout, and now he gets a chance to get out of it, but he's got to get by the Hound Dog, who homered his last time up. So the only run of the game for Seattle. Hello, Mr. Robert. I was a little bit late starting because I was watching the Capitals and the Hurricanes game, but once it got 3-0, I turned it off. So I said, forget it. All right, here, I figured that's over. So here's Presley. 6-7, and that's a 1-5 single, but that's a 10, so he lines it to short, and Detroit gets out of it. Walt Terrell gets out of the mess, leaves the bases loaded. That could come back to bite the Mariners later. We go to the bottom of the third. And Bankhead back out. And here's Tom Brookins. Brookins steps to the plate. Brookins on the replay, hitting .279, a homer and 4 driven in. That's a 5-11, and that's a ballpark blast. It's 1-14. That's a 6. He's got normal power. It's gone. Look at it again. 5-11 ballpark blast. 1-11. That's a 6. It's out of here. Tom Brookins, home run number 2 on the season for Brookins, and that gives the Tigers the lead. How about that? All 3 runs have come on solo home runs. Home run number 2, RBI number 5. Tigers lead it 2-1. Sheridan is your batter. 5-3, and that is a fly ball left field X. We're looking at Phil Bradley. He's a 2-E5. 2 and a 3. Ooh, it was a 10 there, and then it flipped to 3 at the last minute, which could give him trouble. 2 and a 3 is going to be a base hit. He's an E5. The only errors are 4, 14, and 18. And it's not going to be an error, but it will be a single for Sheridan as Bradley unable to get to it. Sheridan will hold for Lou Whitaker. Let Lou Whitaker bat. There's nobody out. No sense running yourself out of an inning. 2-8 for Whitaker, and he draws a walk. And Bankhead getting into more trouble. That'll bring up Kirk Gibson. First and second, nobody out. 1 run already in. Gibby looking for his first hit of the season, 1-7, and he's going to get it. 1-15 is a home run. That's a 13. What a way to get your first hit of the season. Kirk Gibson says, let him pitch to me. Let him pitch to me. A 3-run home run, 1-7. 1-15, that's a 13. It's gone. A 3-run home run for Kirk Gibson. His first of the season, RBIs 1, 2, and 3. It is only his second game of the season. 4 runs are in. All of a sudden, it's a 5-1 Detroit blowout. And Scott Bankhead is going to be looking for some relief very shortly. Dick Williams is not a happy camper. There's Trammell, 4-10. And that's a ground ball back to Bankhead for the first out of the inning. I think now that Detroit has Gibson back, and once they get some of their other players back, like Willie Hernandez, and shore up that bullpen, their record's going to skyrocket. That's got a feeling. Here's Noakes, 6-5, and that's an in-home run chance, 1-12, but that's a 19. That's a triple, but did he have any triples? Yes, he did. So this triple is allowed because he had 2 triples on the season. So Matt Noakes hits one deep into the abyss that is center field in Tiger Stadium and gets a triple out of it. Now the infield's going to have to come in for Darrell Evans. And Dick Williams might be going to the bullpen here early and often. They are. They're going to pull Bankhead. Bankhead's not going to make it very far. Stan Clark's going to be a new pitcher, a lefty. So when you go to your bullpen in the third inning, you're in trouble. But they're trying to keep the score from getting any more runs. They want to keep it 5-1. They figure they still got a chance when it's 5-1. But you get it 6-7-1, you have no chance. So Bankhead is going to go 2 2/3. He's going to give up 6 hits. So far, 5 runs, all earned, but he is responsible for Noakes. He walked 1, struck out 2. And so now with the lefty Evans coming up, they will go to Stan Clark out of the bullpen, and we'll get the numbers on Clark. He's a recent addition to Seattle, so he doesn't have much history as far as the season replay goes. Clark is 0-0. Only pitched 2 innings, 1 hit and a walk, no strikeouts. ERA of 10.80. But of course, that's misleading. Only 2 innings, so probably gave up 3 runs or something. So, and the 2 might be like 2 1/3 because the Strat computer only gives me full innings, not partials. Hello, Jason. Good to see you. All right, so the infield is in, 1 out, and Clark now pitching to Evans. Lefty on lefty matchup. 6-9, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That is Quinones. He's a 3.31. 3-19. That's going to be a good play. Should hold the runner because that should be a G1. 3-19 is a G1, so it should hold the runner. But now we're checking that E31. That's where he can run into trouble. 4-6. Well, basically 3-4-6, and then 15 through 18. 3-4-6, and then 15 through 18. That's a 7. Boy, he just barely got through that. So on the G1 with the infield in, runner at third, the play is on the batter. So the batter is out, and the runner only advances if forced, which he was not forced. So it's good play for Quinones for out number 2. And that'll bring up Mike Heath. Heath flew to center his first chance. 6-5, and that's a fly to right. That's going to end the inning. So even in a blowout, the brilliant managing on this channel has kept Seattle in the game. Most people would not have pulled a starter this early, but I'm not most people. So we go to the 4th inning. It's 5-1, and probably everybody on YouTube is probably glad I'm not like most people. You want variety. Here's Alvin Davis. Two-six for Alvin Davis. Ground ball to second. 1 away. 1 down. Here is Kingery. 3-5, and that is a fly to center field. And Billy Bean will make the catch. Too bad Chet Lemon's not starting this game. It could have made it kind of a double Chet Lemon tribute game, but he's not in the starting lineup. Here's Quinones. 3-7, and that's a solid single for Quinones. 2-out single. And that'll send up Harold Reynolds. Quinones will not be held at first base. Does not run well. Here's Reynolds. 4-8. Switch hitter batting left. 1-4 is a double. That's a 6. It's a single, 2 stars. So Harold Reynolds getting those batting tips from baseball tonight, and they're working out. Runners are on the corners now with 2 outs for John Moses. clutch situation here for Moses. Two, 6, and that is a split chance. 1 to 3 is a single. That's a 20, so he's going to line it to second, and the inning is over. Terrell gets out of the mini jam, and the Tigers maintain that 4-run lead. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's 5-1. Coming back out is Stan Clark. He's got a relief rating of 2, so he's definitely good to go. He's only faced 2 batters. And another lefty-on-lefty matchup with Bill Bean. But since they have the lead, they're not going to pinch hit for Bean, even though he faced lefties 2% of the time. 4-9, and look at this, even against the lefty, because it's on the pitcher card, 1 to 2 is a double, 3 to 20 is a single. That's a base hit for Bill Bean. That's the fallacy of the Strat-O-Matic, is the 50-50, because in an inside pitch, well, an inside pitch, he would not have been rated for splits at all, so it wouldn't have mattered. But payoff pitch, he would have never gotten that hit. All right, here's Tom Brookins. He homered first time up. But every game has their faults and their good points. 6-2, and that is a strikeout on the way for Pat Sheridan. Sheridan, 1 for 2. 1-6 against the left-hander, struck him out. 2 down for Whitaker. And Sparky's not going to start bringing in right-handed pinch hitters just because he's in the game, because they got a 5-1 lead, and there's probably be right-handers later in the game. So if you're playing checkers, you're worried about this, and you play chess, you're worried about the whole game. I play chess. I don't know about anybody else. I play chess, not checkers. Here's Whitaker. You got to think the whole 9 innings, not just the here and now. 4-6, and that's an in-home run chance. He has normal power. That's gone. Lou Whitaker just takes Stan Clark deep. 4-6 is an in-home run chance, and he's got normal power. It is gone. Lou Whitaker, home run number 8 for Lou Whitaker. Home run number 8, and this is home run number 4 for the Tigers in the game in 4 innings. RBIs 21 and 22 for Whitaker. It is now a 7-1 game, and Kirk Gibson is your batter. Hello, Chuck. Didn't see you in there. Sneak in. Here's Gibson, 2-6 against the lefty. He's going to strike out to end the inning, but 2 runs come in. And at the end of 4, it's 7-1 Tigers. 7 unanswered runs. That's going to be all for Stan Clark. He will leave, and Seattle will find somebody else to pitch. So we'll get the numbers on Stan Clark so we can fill in his information from this outing. Clark goes an inning and 2/3. 2 hits, 2 runs. They were earned. And Bankhead ended up with 5 runs. Let's see. No walks, 3 strikeouts. Not sure who the relief pitcher will be coming in next. Could be a couple of different players. Mark Huseman seems like the natural candidate, but we'll wait and see. Because you're going to your mop-up guys when it's 7-1. So here is Phil Bradley. He will lead it off. He has struck out and walked against Terrell. Oh, the blue die missed. I was reading the comments and didn't look where I was putting the dice. So let's try that again. 3-4, and that's going to be a ground ball to Trammell. 1 away. 1 down for Scott Bradley. He's the other white meat. 6-6, and that is a strikeout again. So 1 Bradley grounds to short, and 1 Bradley strikes out. For Terrell, that is strikeout number 3. 2 up and 2 down for Ken Phelps. Ken Phelps. 4-7, and that's a ground ball second base X. Lou Whitaker, 2E20. 2-12, he'll get to that. E20. E20 and a 6. Should be okay. E20 and a 6, it certainly is. So it's a good play for Whitaker. And that's going to take care of the Mariners, 1, 2, 3. So Mark Huseman will be coming in for Seattle in a mop-up role. While Terrell just cruising at this point. Let's get the numbers on Huseman. For Huseman, he is 0-3 with no saves, an 8.36 earned run average, 14 innings pitched, 21 hits, 3 walks, and 16 strikeouts. So to be that bad but have a 3 walks and 16 strikeout card is kind of weird, but that's what's happening. Real world, Huseman would get traded to Cleveland later. He's 2-3 with a 5.04 in real world, but he does get traded to Cleveland down the road. But right now he is with the Mariners. And it's Alan Trammell time. Trammell is homered and grounded back to the pitcher. That's a 5-11, and that's a ballpark blast. 1-11, but that's a 12. Boy, just missed it. Alan Trammell took it to the warning track, but Phil Bradley with his back against the wall made that catch. 1 down, almost the second home run of the game for Trammell, but not quite. And here's Matt Noakes. That's a 5-6, and that is a double for Matt Noakes. Solid double. Solid double for Matt Noakes. So Noakes with the double brings up Darrell Evans. Noakes, of course, not being held on. Noakes has a double and a triple, but I don't think he's going to get enough at-bats to try for a cycle. 4-10 against Huseman. That's a ballpark single check. It's only a 2, but that's a 1. Actually, it's a 19. It was actually in between. It actually went to a 19, so that's a pop out to first base. Pop out to first for Darrell Evans. 2 down for Mike Heath. Heath is 0 for 2. He's flown to center and flown to right. See if he can fly to left. 5-11. No, that's a ballpark blast again, and that's a 6. It's gone. Ballpark blast, 1-11. That's a 6. Mike Heath, he unloads and goes deep. And it's a home run party here at Tiger Stadium. Ball is flying out of here. 2 more runs. It's 9-1 Tigers. For Heath, that is his first home run of the season. RBI's 2 and 3. But he's getting well against the Mariners. And Huseman's just going to have to take one for the team. They don't want to take everybody out of the bullpen. They still got a couple of innings to cover. So Huseman's in there for the haul. 5-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That's Quinones. He's a 3. 3-12, he'll get to it. E31 is the problem. E31 and a 12. Might be okay with that. E31. Yep, no 12. So he's got a good play there for Quinones. And that will end the inning. But 2 more come in. It's now 9-1 Tigers as they lead comfortably here at Tiger Stadium. And we go to, the tape thing is about running out of stickiness, I think. Walt Terrell, he's got a fatigue of 7, so he's still good. He's still good, and the hound dog Jim Presley will lead it off. Homered in line to short. 9-1 Tigers. One 8, and that's a strikeout. One down, and here comes Alvin Davis. 3-8, and that's a single for Alvin Davis. He gets his first hit of the game. That'll bring up Kingery. "5-7" for Kingery, and that is a ground ball shortstop X. Davis not being held, so Trammell keeps his 1E21. 1 and the 7. Probably won't be a double play. Probably going to be a G2. 1 and 7. Oh, he does get the double play chance. 1 and 7 is a G1. He's an E21. So E21 has got to avoid 6, 15, and 17. If he does, it's a double play. But a 15 is going to be an error. Alan Trammell boots it. He was trying to turn the double play, and he ends up booting it. So another error on Alan Trammell. He's had some rough fielding games. E6 should have been out of the inning. Trammell took his eye off of it. Maybe he needs to watch baseball tonight. Here's Quinones. That was a 1, I think it was. Did I roll a 1 there? I thought I rolled a 1 there. I don't know why I'm doing strategy havoc rolls with the score like this. I probably ought to just cut it off. I think I will. I'm not even going to worry about that anymore. Well, you got to do it for wild pitches. So Terrell, his wild pitch rating is a 7. That is a 4. It will be a wild pitch. It'll move the runners up. Almost seems meaningless, but I want to. If we're going to keep the accurate stats, we got to be accurate. Infield is back. Then obviously up 9-1. You don't want to do anything like that. So, Terrell 4-5, and that's a walk. It's going to load the bases, so the wild pitch was pretty much irrelevant because the bases would have been loaded anyway. And now here's Harold Reynolds with the bases loaded and 1 out, infield looking for the double play. 4-9, and that's trouble for Terrell. 1-3 is a triple. That's a 16. It'll be a double to center field. Double to center field. Quinones down by 9-1. They're not going to play. They're not going to be crazy on the base paths. They're going to hold him up at third base. 2 runs will score. It's 9-3 on the 2-run double from Harold Reynolds. So second and third with 1 out for John Moses. Maybe Terrell starting to show a little bit of chink in the armor. Infield is back. 2-8 for Moses is a single to right field. Base hit's going to score Quinones. And Reynolds will score as well. Runs at a 17. They're not going to, they want to keep Moses at first base. He wasn't being held. It actually comes as an 18, so they're not going to try that. 2-run single from John Moses. And all of a sudden, it's a Dolly Parton 9-5 game. Still only 1 out, and that'll bring up Phil Bradley. 1-7, that's a single to center field. Now the Tiger bullpen is going to get active as Walt Terrell seems to have just lost it all of a sudden. And so we look at the Tiger bullpen, and right-hander Nate Snell is loosening in their pen. Nate Snell loosening in the Tiger bullpen. Here's Scott Bradley. "1-5 for Bradley. Ground ball, second base A. It's a 4-6-3 double play to end the inning. But 4 runs come in. Not all of them earned because of the error. But they'll take the 4 runs anyway to make it a 9-5 game. But the 4-6-3 double play certainly helps Terrell out. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. Score still remain, or now is 9-5. Dolly Parton style. Terrell may or may not be back for the next inning. We shall see. Mariners sent 8 to the plate. And here's Tom Brookins. He homered his first time up, then also struck out. .610, right-handed, is a fly ball center field X. That is Moses. He's a 2E5. 2 and a 13, he'll get to it. E5 center fielder. The only errors on an E5 center fielder: 4, 16, 17, and 18. And an 8 just fine. So nicely hauled in out there by Moses, 1 away. And that'll bring us to the top of the order for Pat Sheridan. 1 for 3. 110, and that's a 1 to 10 single. That's a 4. Base hit for Sheridan. He's 2 for 4. And that'll send up Lou Whitaker. Sweet Lou homered his last time up. 1-2. That's a Lomax, and he's might be injured. The Lomax to second base. They're going to double him off. Harold Reynolds snags it, and then throws to second base or first base rather for the double play. A 4-4-3 double play to end the inning. He smoked it, but right at Harold Reynolds, who had plenty of time to throw to Davis for the double play. So we go to the 7th. First, we got to see if Whitaker can stay in the game. He needs a 1 to 4 to stay in the game. He does not. He's got to come out. So Whitaker will leave the ball game, doing as play, but are doing game injuries only, in-game injuries only. It's not going to affect anything later on. So let's see who's going to come in and play second base for the Tigers. They got to have somebody that's ready to play second base somewhere in their lineup. Let's see who they've got to play second base. Tom Brookins can play second base, but then who's going to play third? Well, Darnell Coles can play third. Or they could put in Bergman. I think what they're going to do is put Bergman at first base, move Evans to third base, move Brookins to second base. And then Bergman will come in and take the place of Whitaker. So a lot of administrative stuff to get done here. So Bergman is going to come in and play first base in the 7th inning. And then Brookins goes from third to second, and Evans goes from first to third. So Bergman will take over in the spot formerly held by Lou Whitaker, as Lou Whitaker is now out of the game. So we go to the top of the 7th. It is 9 to 5. Walt Terrell scheduled to face Phelps, Presley, and Davis. And Mr. Chuck, since you are a Tigers fan, I'll give you a choice. These are the 4 guys you can bring in if you want to bring in somebody. Mark Thurman's the only lefty. You got Jeff Robinson, a righty, Nate Snell, or Brian Kelly. Or I can keep going with Terrell. This is his start of his fatigue inning. So, and he does have a 9 to 5 lead. So if you want me to stick with Terrell, I will stick with Terrell. If you want me to bring in one of those guys from the bullpen, I will bring in one of those guys from the bullpen. Since you are a Tiger fan, I can let you do a little bit of managing. You let me know. Bullpen, who do you want? You want Kelly? You want Snell? You want Robinson? Or do you want Thurman? If we're going to take Terrell out. You tell me which one you want. All of them have pretty good, at least 2 innings of fatigue. Thurman, all right? So Mark Thurman, the lefty, is going to come on. And that'll be it for Terrell. He's going to go 6 innings, and we'll go to the computer and get his numbers. So Mark Thurman is going to come on to face Phelps. Thurman will come on, and we'll go to the box score and get the total numbers on Walt Terrell. the official final numbers. He's going to go 6 innings. He's going to give up 9 hits, 5 runs, 4 were earned. He's going to walk 3, strike out 4. Of course, he will improve to 3-1, assuming Tigers don't fall apart. And Bankhead would drop to 1-2. So let's get the numbers on Thurman on the replays. 2-2 with 2 saves, but he does have a 7.24 earned run average. 14 innings pitched, 22 hits, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. And he will be facing Ken Phelps, the designated hitter. Ken Phelps is your designated hitter. Well, there are 3 out of the next 4 guys are left-handed for Seattle. So, but we're in the 7th inning, so pinch hitting would be allowed. So let's see what Phelps can do, lefty on lefty. 1-3, ground ball to the new first baseman, Bergman. I tell you, every time you bring in somebody new, the ball's going to find them. Just works out that way. 3 unassisted. Oh, I need to make those changes on the computer. Let me do that. I was changing the pitcher and failed to change the batters. So let's get Bergman. He will be in Whitaker's spot playing first base. Tom Brookins will move to second base. And Darrell Evans will move to third base. Okay, now we're set. And now the ground ball goes to Bergman, as it should. So at least the computer now will show that. So there's one away for the Hound Dog Jim Presley. 4-7 against Thurman, the right-hander. That's a single for Presley. So he's 2 for 4. Of course, will not be held on. And here's Alvin Davis, another lefty-on-lefty matchup. 6-11, ground ball first base X, but they're not holding Presley on, so Bergman will keep his full defensive prowess, which is 2E12. So he will keep the full 2E12. 2-11. See if that's a double play chance. Should be. 2-11 should be a G1. 2-11 is a G1. First baseman, he is an E12. So he's got to avoid 6, 9, 15, 3, and 18. Get our virgin tray. We take all the debris out. Have a clean tray, as it should be. That's a 16, an E11. I'm sorry, E12 and a 16. There's a 15, but no 16. So Bergman will make the play, and it'll be a 3-6-3 double play to end the inning. So I'll tell you what, you bring in that's another brilliant managing move. Bringing in the better defensive first baseman. Darrell Evans would have never made that play. Trying to tell you folks, but nobody wants to listen. We play chess around here, folks, not checkers. All right, bottom of the 7th we go. And you know what that means. That means take me out to the ball game. I will stretch with you. 9-5, Dolly Parton, but Dolly Parton will not be singing the 7th inning stretch. All right, 7th inning stretch is in the books. So To answer your question, Ben, no, I do not have a rating for the Chess Federation, but you can call me the Bobby Fischer of the baseball streamers, because all we do is around here is play chess. We don't play checkers. All right, Huseman back out. He has a fatigue of 3, so he's okay to go. He'll be facing Gibson, Trammell, and Noakes for the Tigers. Hello, JC. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Gibson, 5-5, and for Huseman, that's trouble. 1-4 is a triple. Anything else will be a double. That's a double for Kirk Gibson. He's homered, and now he's doubled. Tigers are definitely glad to have him back. Makes a big difference in that lineup. That'll bring up Trammell. And now Seattle's bullpen starting to stir a little bit again. They don't have many relievers left, though. They do have Bill Wilkinson, a left-hander, and they have Edwin Nunez, and they have Jerry Reed. We just used Jerry Reed yesterday for the previous game, so I kind of want to put him at the back burner. But we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. Here's Trammell. Huseman to Trammell. 5-4, and that's an in-home run chance, 1-15. That's a 12. It's gone. Alan Trammell hits his second home run of the game. Look at it again, 5-4, and that's an in-home run chance, 1-15, and that's a 12. So Alan Trammell does it again, his 6th home run of the season, 2nd of the game for Mr. Trammell, and it becomes an 11-5 game. For Trammell, that is home run number 6, RBI 16 and 17. And Huseman might be at the beginning of the end here. In fact, Huseman is coming out of the ball game. Dick Williams has seen enough. They will pull Huseman and bring in the left-hander Bill Wilkinson to face some of the lefties coming up. So Bill Wilkinson will get the call. Here is Matt Noakes. Wilkinson on the replay. Wilkinson is 1-1 with a save, 5.40 earned run average, 13 innings pitched, 15 hits, 5 walks, and 15 strikeouts. The pitch to Noakes, 3-4, left-handed, ground ball to first. Alvin Davis will make the play. 1 down, and that's going to send up Darrell Evans, the new third baseman. 4-8, and that's a strikeout. 2 down. And Mike Heath, the batter. Whoa, Suadice. Let's re-roll that. 2-6, and that's going to be a ground ball to short. Quinones is there to end the inning, but 2 runs come in. And now the score is 11-5. And we'll close the book now on Huseman. Get his totals. Huseman pitches 2+ innings. Gives up 5 hits and 4 runs, all earned. No walks, no strikeouts. So we go to the top of the 8th. Due up for the Mariners, Kingery, Quinones, and Reynolds, assuming they don't pinch hit for anybody. Kingery lefty on lefty matchup with Thurman. So 3-5 left-handed, and that's a ground ball to short. 1 away. One down for Ray Quinones. 1-7, and that's a strikeout. I'll bring up Harold Reynolds. 4-6, and switch hitter batting right-handed. That's a single to right field for Reynolds. So he will reach, and that brings up John Moses. How about Harold Reynolds? He's 3 for 4. Thurman to Moses. 4-11. Switch hitter batting right-handed. Fly ball left field X. We are looking at Gibson. He's a 3-E-10. 3 and a 7. 3 and a 7 is barely going to be good enough. 3 and a 7 is an F1. And he is an E10, so we got to avoid 4. Basically 3, 4, and then 14 through 18. 3, 4, and then 14 through 18. That's a 6. That's good enough for Gibson. He'll make the play, and the inning is over. So the inning is over. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Score still 11-5. Billy Beane will now be replaced as the White Sox, not the White Sox, the Tigers, will bring on Chet Lemon to pinch hit and stay in the game to play center field. The late Chet Lemon. Pinch hit in the 8th, center fielder in the 9th for Chet Lemon. Lemon on the replay. Checks in. Hitting 189, no homers, 6 driven in, so he's been struggling at the start. 5-7, and he will ground it to second for Harold Reynolds. Reynolds is a 2-E21. 2 and a 9, he'll get to that. E21 and a 6. E21 and a 6. 2 and a 9 was a G2. E21 and a 6. No error there, so it's a good play for Reynolds. And Lemon is retired. 1 away. But Lemon will stay in the game to play center field. Here's Brookins. He's homered. Whoa, another Suwa dice. We get a 1-4. Oh, let's get Brookins up to bat here. 1-4, and that's a ballpark single check. Not very good. It's only a 1, so he will line it to third base. We're out number 2. 2 down, and Pat Sheridan is your batter. He's a 2, so they're going to leave him in there because he's a good defender. Even though it's lefty-lefty. 3-8 struck him out, but they were playing for defense. So we go to the 9th inning with the score 11-5. Chet Lemon has taken over in center field for the Tigers. We can close the book on Wilkinson now. Go to his score here. He pitches 2 innings. Gives up nothing, strikes out 2. So he had a nice outing there. Thurman has gone 2 innings, given up just 2 hits. So they're going to see if he can finish what he started. Due up for Seattle will be Bradley, and Phelps are the scheduled hitters, but we'll probably get a pinch hitter for Scott Bradley. He may bring in a right-hander to pinch hit for Scott Bradley. Looks like Dave Valley will pinch hit for Scott Bradley. So Dave Valley will pinch hit in the 9th. But first things first, it is Phil Bradley. (11-5), top of the 9th. That's a 5-11, And that's a ballpark single check. It's only a 1, though, so that's not going to do him any good. It's a liner to short. 1 away. And that's going to bring up Dave Valley. And we'll get the numbers on Valley. He will pinch hit for Bradley. Valley checks in, hitting .250 in 36 at-bats, a homer and 3 driven in. 2-5, and that is a line out to third base. 2 down. And Ken Phelps is your scheduled hitter, but I believe he's being called back as well. He's 0 for 4. So they're going to bring in John Christensen to pinch hit, a right-hander. Christensen will pinch hit for Phelps. Christensen to pinch hit for Phelps. And we'll get the numbers on Christensen. On the replay, Christensen checks in at .250. He's 4 out of 16 in limited duty. No homers, 2 driven in. 6-6, and that's a single to center field. So it keeps the ball game going. And that'll flip the next man over to Jim Presley, the Hound Dog. Hound Dog is 2 for 4 with a home run. Hard to believe Seattle was actually leading this game 1-0 at one point. Thurman to Presley. 5-8, and that's a walk. So Thurman might be on the verge of fatigue, but they're going to keep him out there. The computer says he's not tired just yet, so I believe one more base runner, he's going to be fatigued, but we'll see how it plays out. So Alvin Davis, your batter. Runners at first and second and 2 outs. 1-7 struck him out, and that's the ball game. Way to finish in style if you're Mark Thurman. Struck him out, and the ball game is over. 11-5, your final. Tigers lay waste to Seattle. Tigers even their record at 13-13. Poor Seattle drops to 9-19. Final line score, 11 runs, 13 hits, and an error for Detroit. 5 runs, 12 hits, and no errors for Seattle. Winning pitcher is Walt Terrell. He is now 3-1. Scott Bankhead takes the loss. He's 1-2. And getting a cheap save is Mark Thurman, his 3rd of the season. Left on base, Mariners left on 10, Tigers left on 2. There's your story right there. Seattle left 10 runners on base, Tigers left on 2. Home runs in the game, Jim Presley for Seattle hit 1, but then you have Whitaker with his 8th, Gibson his 1st, Trammell had 2, his 5th and his 6th, Heath had his 1st, and Brookins had his 2nd. So lots of long balls out there. And the Tigers player of the game, give it to a lot of guys. Could give it to Gibson, perhaps. I'm thinking of giving it to Gibson because it was just a 2-1 game, and then when he hit that 3-run homer, that pretty much put him out in front to stay. He was 2 for 4 with 3 runs batted in and 2 RBI. So, player of the game, Mr. Kirk Gibson is the player of the game for the Tigers. Trammell did have 2 home runs, but I don't think either one of them, well, the first one tied the game, but the one at the end was really irrelevant. To me, the 3-run homer is what got it going for Gibson. Plus, Trammell made an error. I don't like guys that make errors. So, Kirk Gibson is your player of the game. Tigers take care of the Mariners easily by the score of 11-5, even their record at 13-13. As we look ahead on the schedule, I can find my score sheet that I had. Here we go. Let's look ahead on the schedule. Next game on the schedule, we will be coming to you from. We'll be coming to you from Kansas City. It'll be the Toronto Blue Jays and the Kansas City Royals. Bud Black 1-1 against Jimmy Key, who's 5-0. So Jimmy Key looking to continue his hot play. And in this game, we're actually going to have Bo Jackson playing center field. So that's going to be interesting to see how he does there. How about that? Cecil Fielder, your DH, and I read somewhere that Cecil Fielder's grandson, I guess it's Prince Fielder Jr. or I don't know if his first name is Prince, probably something else. But a third generation fielder is in the major leagues now and has gotten a hit. So it might have even been a home run. But yeah, that tells you you're getting old when Cecil Fielder's grandson's in the major leagues. That's when you know you're old. But that's going to do it. I know Chuck was very happy about that. Tabby, even though she's downstairs, I'm sure is very happy about it. Tigers with the win improved to 13-13. Let's see what it does for them in the standings, up to the second standings. Seattle just get more mired in last place. They're 9 games back of the A's, even though the A's lost. They didn't gain any ground. Detroit now 13-13. They are 6 games in back of the Yankees, who are 19-7. Yankees will be playing the White Sox later on. So, but Toronto, their record 14-10. And Kansas City checks in at 12-11. They're in second place behind Oakland. They are 3.5 games in back of Oakland. Toronto is 4 games in back of the Yankees. That will be the next game, probably Monday night. Tomorrow night, most likely. Might be tomorrow morning, but most likely it'll be tomorrow night. Inside pitch. RJL will be very happy because it is the New York Mets traveling to Wrigley Field to take on the Cubs. John Matlack against Rick Russell, 1977 inside pitch game. Cubs and the Mets from Wrigley. That is the next game on the agenda. It'll be tomorrow, either in the morning or in the evening when I get home. One or the other. I haven't decided which way I'm going to do it. If you don't see anything in the morning, then obviously you know it's coming at night. But if I get the gumption and I have time, I'll do it in the morning. We'll wait and see how I feel. So that's going to be 19-0. Good grief. Padres over the Rockies. Whew. That's a rough score. All right. So I do appreciate all you guys sticking with me through this blowout game. And lots of home runs, not much pitching. That's for sure. So we finished this section. And I've got to get a folder of some kind. I don't know what I'm going to use yet to keep all these things organized. But these are all the stacks of score sheets from all the games I've played in this replay so far. You can see it going way back. I used to use these score sheets, and then I switched over to using the Strat-O-Matic score sheet. So you can tell where, it went way, way back. So way, way back. But I've got all the score sheets right here in a pile. I'll eventually put them in a accordion folder or something so they don't get misplaced. Because even though it's on the computer, I still like to have the paper copy. It's always nice to have a paper copy. But like I said, tomorrow, either at night or in the morning, it'll be the April 10th game from Chicago. Mets and Cubs, and there's your early preview of your bench and your bullpens and your starting lineups. Matlack against Russell. So Dave Kingman will be in the game. He's a power hitter. And then you can pick out your other favorite players from both of those teams. But that'll be tomorrow. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.